All right, we are live again. Let me open my closet door more. This is the only lighting I have in this room. Just a little bit more light here. All right. Today we are working on my base building plugin again. Should be fun. So here we got our base building plugin. We got some previews that we set up on last stream. But we still have some issues. With things like I can still place another foundation here, which is not cool. I think I realized the problem of the way I was trying to do it, but I've since forgotten. So I do not now know how to fix it. I think I had like a pretty good idea of how to fix it, and then it's gone now. So we're gonna have to rethink that issue. But once that's done, this thing is kind of done. This plugin, or like the earliest version of it, at least. But let me go ahead and post my Discord links real quick. The other thing I could work on is I could work on my actual main project. But I do kind of want to, finish this plugin up because I want to release it. Okay, so here is the area. This right here is where we're having issues. I had this whole thing of like, oh, let's merge the connection points. So when two connections are overlapping, then they, basically become the same. If they're the same type of connection, they should basically become the same connection. So this is all good here. And then when we build something, place component says connection.current components append component. So we add that component. I just had another random thought, which is this degrees of rotation. We could just apply that to the snapping point. Rather than to the component. No, wait, that doesn't work. That only works for the preview. Anyway, so we place a component, boom. But it also doesn't really work because this. So when we place a new structure, a new structure is going to have, like this square foundation is going to pop up on the ground. But then if you place another one next to it, it's going to have a connection point right there. But the structure doesn't have, the very first component doesn't have a connection point there because it's placed floating. Let me try something like that and just see what happens. Hey, RJL, what's up, man? How you doing? Good to see you again. Okay. That is going to still have one. And that still has one. Okay. And we can still place on all these. Why? Why? I'm over here just having a grand old time trying to figure this out. I never even figured it out in my main project. Okay. Let me think about this. Handle, update connections. We'll grab this. Oh, maybe we could do this. Oh, I think I did greater than. Okay. I think I coded. Anyway, let me try this. Maybe if I just do this. Where else was I setting it? Okay, well, that does. Foundation, okay. Okay. These must not be. This just must not be working. Okay. Let me do if same. Print same. Let's try this. Same. Okay. So this one there and this one there are both. Okay, so they are detecting each other. And then we're saying for ion current components. We're also saying print current components. Clearly there are no current components, even though we've been building. Okay, and I can't build there. Interesting. Even though there is a connection point there. So it works for that one. Why? Why does it work there? Still didn't print current components there. And now I can build over there. Okay, let's build there. Still no current components. Oh, I guess we didn't print. Let me try. I'm still barely awake. No current components being printed. None at all. Okay. All right, buddy. All right, buddy. So they detect each other, but they don't have any current components. Let me, whoops. Comment this out and let's do something else like, oh, but when you build, and one doesn't have a component on it, then this isn't going to do anything anyway. Oh, what am I thinking? How do I do this? Okay, because we have square. We add one. It has 4 connection points for more squares. We add one. Now there's 4 more connection points. How do we disable this one? And how do we disable this one? Neither of them have overlapping. Actually, wait, no, this one. No, there are no overlapping ones for those. Then we place one here. Blip, blip, blip. Finally, there's an overlapping one there. I mean, this one can be disabled just because it has a component that was just built on it. That's easy. This one doesn't have a component that was built on it because this one was built first. So it doesn't know that it was built on. It wasn't technically built on that connection. Size is greater than 0. C not current size. Well, we'll just do this. Okay, let's see what happens here. Okay, no overlapping ones. This is our first one. Okay. So we have no size greater than 0 currently. Not even when we build there. Even though we know that the size is greater than 0. Well, I guess this is only when area entered happens. So do we just need to do merge components, merge connections here? We can't really, right? Maybe we do like a connected current overlapping connections. Connections, this connection overlaps with. Okay. Let's do a new one down here. Okay, and then, so for false, if we accept the same thing in our connection hitbox, current overlapping connections dot append C. Okay. Okay, let's just see what happens here. See if this works. Okay, we got some connections that are overlapping and being seen. Okay, nice. Okay. We'll do current components. No. Let me think here. So we have to go through each one. Do we just disable them all? Okay, we have this for iron current components. If it's null, continue. Let me think about this. So we've got... My goodness, why is this so hard for me to think? It's because I need my second Red Bull. Overlapping connections if they are the same kind. If they are the same kind, do we just disable them? But then we have to make sure that one I think we need an unmerge as well. But what happens if we just say set monitor false? And then okay, I mean, that's cool, but it has nothing to do with what we were doing. Oh, why is this so annoying? We have this whole set monitor thing. Let's try if oh, we can't just set the monitor too. Because I think then that'll make it so then they don't update against each other. We need to do enabled. Let's see if enabled is even used. Which means in our base builder, actually player, Where is it? Connection detector. If enabled equals false, return. Okay, we already checked to see if it's enabled or not. That's kind of good. Which means we can go to our connection. Oh, whoops, and enabled equals true. Connection dot enabled equals false. Okay, now we need our base build component. Parent connection, which is a connection. The connection this component is placed on, if any. So now we can go here, and we could say, parent connection equals connection. Now when we deconstruct one, deconstruct needs to go if parent connection does not equal null, parent connection dot enabled equals true. Okay, so now we do that. And then in our connection, I guess, okay, merge connections. This only happens when a new one enters. I can tell you've secretly gotten really good at coding. Thank you, brother. I've gotten slightly better over time every day. I still can put out some terrible stuff, though, if you let me. But I am trying to make things a lot better. Because the thing is, when you try to make a plugin, which I've already tried to do before with my inventory one, and I learned a ton trying to build that. I need to go back and actually make it usable because it's mostly broken. But I have to document this and make it all make sense, which really does force you to kind of like learn how to do things. So even like with this plugin, I've got this base builder node that you throw on the player or scene. It has like a little detection box that allows you to detect these little connection points, so then you can build things. And setting up the build resources on this, so like ceiling, deconstruct, doorway, foundation, triangle ceiling, triangle foundation, all of these took a long time, but I was able to figure it out to a point where it's like it's actually scalable. So like the ceiling has its scene, its preview scene, its type, which is from an enum in the base builder. Where is it? Right here. But this should be fully scalable and customizable to where you can add your own components, and then it doesn't have to just be a base builder plugin. It could be like, I kind of want to make a spaceship game with this where you build your spaceship or something. Looks nice. Yeah, it's getting there. I think I'll paste the GitHub in the chat real quick if you want to keep an eye on it over time. Like, it's obviously not there yet. It's not built, but I want people to play around with it when it gets there, which I think in the next week, in the next couple days maybe, I'll have like a V1 or something, I don't know. But I'd like people to mess around with it and find the bugs and see if there's things that are really annoying to use. Because I know some of this is a little cumbersome. Like when you add a new component, you have to end up adding a new resource. But the resource, I mean, that's not too bad. You just give it a name. You add a new resource that has a preview scene, a scene, and some other stuff, like title and type. But then after that, on your actual components that you build, your own custom components, you're really just adding a bunch of connection points and telling them what they accept. So like these foundation connections, they accept type foundation. And they're placed in just a way where when you place a foundation, it lines up with this foundation. This wall connection, it's right on the edge here. And it's pointed in the correct way, I believe. Yeah. In local space, it should show. Yeah. You just place your connections wherever you want. You tell them what type you want them to accept. You can make as many types as you want. And it's pretty scalable too, because like wall accepts doorway and wall, and it will accept a window wall. It will accept any type of wall-like component. And you just specify what kind of type each component is. And then yeah. And I think it's a decent enough system for if you were building like a city builder even, or like I said, like maybe kind of like Raft, the Raft game. I was thinking about potentially making a Raft in space style prototype. But I think it could work for that. Anyway, what I want to do is fix the issues and make a video on how to use it, and then get people to try it out if they have time and just want to see what it's all about. Okay, so here's my fun player script, which was just copied out of an older script. Okay. What am I trying to do now again? I have very little light in here because in my new apartment, I do not have lights except for in like my closet and the entryway. Okay. Base builder, we need to go back to connection. Handle update connections. We have merge connections. We have update current connections. This is all not great. I.current components dot size is greater than components max components. I.enabled equals false. This is doing too much checking. Like this is, I think, overkill, but let's just see what happens. Okay, so that should still be there. Okay, we can still build there and there and there. That's called there. If I go to deconstruct and then back to foundation, we're still there. Current overlapping connections. We're getting 0, nothing, we're all empty. Oh, we're not even adding them to it. C or current overlapping connections has C. Else current overlapping connections append C. Okay, let's try this now. Maybe we just weren't adding it to it. Okay, we now have overlapping connections. Foundation. Current components.size on type previously freed. Maybe we just clean out of the nulls out of there. Okay. Why is this still... Foundation 4 and Foundation 2. Oh, why am I doing greater than max components? It shouldn't matter. Or it shouldn't be about that. It should be, Oh, duh, what am I doing? See, I'm completely brain dead in the morning state. Okay. We need to do current components dot size is greater than 0. Oh, whoops. We need to just do i.enabled equals false. Let's see if that does anything. Let's see if something breaks here. No? Okay. Oh, now it does. Is equal to null. Continue. Foundation. Blip, 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 blip. Why? Where? Okay, wait. Where is update current connections? It's being called on merge connections. And here. But it should probably be built or called on. It's getting called there. Place component. But this is only getting called on the component type. No, I mean that gets called anyway. But maybe if we throw that up there, that changes some stuff. No, nope. You can still build where you just built. We have a bunch of overlapping connections, but they're just not doing anything to them. So this is if we have a current component on us, get all of our overlapping connections and set them to not enabled. Why is this so difficult to understand? Okay, so let's take a look at this. We go handle update connections. Okay, we're updating our current connections. We say, okay, if there's any current overlapping connections, then we erase all the nulls. Then we go current components.size is greater than 0. So for most overlapping connections, it's not going to be greater than 0. or for most connections. But if we have a component, then we check how many overlapping connections we have. Wait a second, we're setting these monitors to false. Or to true if enabled is true. Is that messing me up? No. We literally just built this one, and for a second it was like, oh yeah, we can do it. Okay. Maybe we do this. This we're saying set monitor false, but maybe we still monitor it. Because the monitoring should be different. Oh. Oh, okay. This is just a glitch because I placed it. Okay, so we just need to update those connections right after you build. Update connections. This needs to update current connections, which it does. Okay. It's because of our monitoring. We were setting monitoring weirdly. Now, this still doesn't fix our initial foundation. And right after we build, we can still build the second one, I think. Or many. Because let me try to deconstruct now. Oh, it only built one. Okay. But for our foundation, so for our very first foundation that we build, we need to find a way to make sure. So we've got a square, right? It has connections. So we place our very first free-floating foundation. Now, when we place one over here, it's going to create a connection there. This one needs to be disabled instantly. We could create a foundation there. Or, I mean, a connection there. Just to have it overlap. We have place new structure. Okay. Man, my brain is working at about 12% capacity right now. We add the child. Okay, it's there. Now maybe we... Well, first, let's make sure that this works for other things, too. So right there, we can still build. And it still shows, like, okay, if I click a bunch, then I go to deconstruct. Okay, still only... Ooh. Now we don't have this. Equal to null, or whoops, 0 in current overlapping connections if I dot current components dot size is equal to 0. So we're saying that this one is empty and then these ones are empty. Oh, this needs to be here. So if it's empty, then we say enabled equals true. So we need to kind of re-enable. So if our current component size is greater than 0, then we do this, and then we can return. Oh, whoops. So if our size is bigger, if we have components on us, then get all of our overlapping connections, turn them off. If we're empty, then we check if all the rest of them are empty. If empty, then we set all of these to enabled. I guess. Let's try it. Deconstruct this one first. Uh-oh. What's going on here? Oh, and now we're back to broken. This just turns our self off. This should disable all of them. I guess we don't need this return here because this isn't elif. I don't know what that would be doing. Okay. Nice. What happens if I deconstruct this one? Okay, I still can't build there, but I can build here. Oh. But now I can build here for some reason, and there. And I can still build here, even though there's, whoops, overlapping connections. If I build there, and I build here, and I build there again, eventually you run out. Oh, but then it adds in this one here. Now I can't build there. That's funny. Because it's not enabled? If current focus connection. No. Remove from current focus connections. No, that should be fine. On ready. Maybe it's just because when we create one, we have a destruction connection there. Now I can't build there. Bro, I'm going crazy. All right. Okay, nothing there, nothing there. These all work fine. Of course, if I delete one. Oh. Oh, I place there, I just can't actually build there. Interesting. is equal to null. No, we do need to do the whole empty thing. So if it's greater than 0, then empty equals false. Then we got to loop through them all again. Okay. We say empty is true. Then we go through all of our connections. If the size is greater than 0, empty equals false. If empty equals false, then we go for I. Oh, we have to do enabled equals false here. And then we loop through all of those current overlapping connections, and we say they're false too. Of course, now we're looping through all the connections and setting them all individually false and having them set each other all individually false. Definitely overkill, unnecessary. This is so annoying. Okay. Gonna do a million null checks. For some reason, I can still build on this one.
Now this is only being called there. Okay, we do that. Okay, let's try this. Maybe we just needed to add the unmerging part. You can still build there. Let's deconstruct that. Ah. Corrupt world, what's up? Make it a function, yes. My functions, my logic is just, this is just not logic. I'm losing all the brain cells I ever had, which wasn't much to begin with. Okay, we have merge connections, unmerged connections. Now, for some reason, I can build there. Why? And now I can't build there. Why? So if it's empty, then we set this to ourselves to enable. We don't need to check any more connections there. So here, if our own size we don't need this either. We've got a lot of redundant code that's probably messing us up anyway. Why do you guys work now? How come we're allowed to build on you now? In current overlapping connections. If you're null, continue. If your size is greater than 0, we go empty equals false, and then we break. If empty is false, then we set ourselves to enabled false. Feel, man, I'm not brave enough to code live yet, so I commend you. Yeah, it's just, this whole stream has just been me absolutely not understanding my own system. Or how to use it. Here's my issue. Okay, so you got a square foundation. Your very first one, you build it, it has its connections. Okay, sweet. So now you build another square foundation. It now creates a connection here. This isn't overlapping with any, so it doesn't know that there's a component there. It creates its own connections. This one knows that there's a component there. The other thing I could do is just create a connection at the center that accepts foundations just to deal with this problem. Okay, 0 overlapping connections. Still 0. Okay. Now we have 2 overlapping connections, right? No, 4? What are the 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now we've got a long list. So 3 overlapping connections here. That should actually be 4. Why do we only have 3? Oh, because we built it before. So boom. Now we should have a 4. I don't see any length 4. And we can still build on these. Oh, nope, that's length 2. Whew. Has C. I wonder if that's causing this. Let me do C in. Try it like that. No. Still only getting 3 connections overlapping, even though we should definitely have 4. No, wait, because 3, meaning... no. We shouldn't have 4. We should have 3. At the max, because one of them is themselves. Wonder if that break is doing something. No. We could just do... Here we could make this better. Actually, I don't think we need any of this. We just do this. We disable ourselves if one of them has a component. Sometimes my own code blows me away with how dumb it is. Okay. That's working. Huh? Maybe. We can build there, but we can't build... Oh. Wait. Now I can't build there. Wait a second. Okay, so when I deconstruct, parent connection does not equal null. We need to enable that. Oops. Let's see where we are queuing free. Just there. Okay. This should be enabling that. So what's going on? Oh, we need to do parent connection dot current components dot erase self. I think we need to do that. Yes. Okay. That is annoying how it stays like that until you move, but... And then this here, the very first foundation. We need some way of detecting that it is a first foundation. Now, our square foundation, we could just... This is hacky, though, to have to add another connection to the center of it that's saying, hey, I'm a square foundation. I don't know how to do that in a good way. I know how to do it in a hacky way. But how do I let the second foundation know that this one exists? Because there's no actual connection there. This connection is generated by the second foundation. The only thing I can think of is to completely rework my connections and my scenes. So, right now we have this. You have a foundation, sweet. You have 4 wall connections. Right now the wall or foundation origin point is at the center. But we could put the origin point like right there. So then you could snap another foundation there. And then you wouldn't have nearly as many overlapping connections. Then all you'd need to do is realign your connections. I could put that there. Then all of my foundations. Snap. Whoops. -4. Foundation connect. 0, 0. Two. Oh, that's with snap. Oops. These are already aligned. Nice. Okay, what happens if we do it like this? Okay. I think we need to grab everything. Move it to 2. Something like that. Oh. It's because I just moved everything. Nope. 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 Why? Oh, it's in local. How come you don't want to create a center connection? Because this is a plugin, so I don't want every time you create a new foundation to have to, okay, this will work. I think. We still have some weird stuff, but I think this will make it easier. I don't want you to have to create a whole new, or have to remember, oh, I need to put a center connection here that accepts a foundation but is instantly turned off, and it's only there to detect other connections that, you know, accept foundations, all just for the very first foundation you place. Especially not when people start adding their own components. Okay, let me go ahead and look at my foundation preview. Okay, we can do that. Okay, I don't like that it's pointed towards you. Oh. So we'll have to swap them around. Okay, there's no there's no overlapping connection there. Wait, no, but there should be. Yeah, because it works here. So why does this one not have an overlapping connection? Okay, let's deconstruct all of these. Okay. Yep, I was able to place 2 there, and I can once again place on these. That doesn't make any sense. Shoot. Maybe we go back to the drawing board. Does this at least work for all the secondary ones? So like build, okay. Okay, so now this is the only one that we need to worry about. You know what we could do? We could do our base build component could have a export var free floating. This lets the connections know that this is a free floating component, the first placed in a new structure. So the connections and know to not enable on top of this component. Okay, base builder, when we create a new one, place new structure. Okay, so now in our connection, we could go here and we could say update current connections. If parent, what is it? Oh, it's just parent. Parent.parent connection dot parent dot free floating is equal to true, enabled equals false. Okay. Let's see. Broken. Okay. Base object type nil. What is parent? Parent is a base build component. Oh. Well, okay. Okay, let's see if this breaks. Okay. Unfortunately, that does not work. Base builder script. Free floating equals true. Free floating is equal to true. Oh, wait. We do need this whole check if they're empty thing, right? Or we could just do a just say enabled equals true, and then we check if we need to make them false. Okay, if we have a current component, and then if we overlap with any, why? Why are you still doing that? Could do this. Wonder if we ran it every time that we... That's actually kind of better. I guess that's kind of fine to have there as well. Free floating. Do we even have the parent? I don't think this is being set anywhere. The connection is a direct child of the component, so the ready function will grab it. Okay, let's see what happens. Would it be wrong to make the first base object a parent object and have the rest be children, override the center connection attribute not having this is solve the inner center connection issue only for being the first laid base object? That's kind of what I'm doing here. So I have a free floating boolean. Okay, does not equal null. Parent does not. Oh, parent connection. We got to do does not equal null. But that, yeah, that's basically what I'm looking at here. Parent is a base build component. Base build component has parent connection. Okay. Yeah. That's in general what I'm trying to do. Okay, let's see if this breaks. Okay, no. There we go. Whoops. Okay. Why am I only allowed to build on this now? None of these are active. Okay. Let's start over again. Let's keep track of which one was the correct one. So this is our base right there. Build. Now I can't build on these. Because all of these connections are being disabled by this. So we can't just disable all of them. We still need to find the right one to disable. Oops. Dang it. That brings us back to our issue of how do we figure out which one is the right one to disable. I could do if position, global position, this is terrible. Truly horrific. And it doesn't even work, because apparently they're not in the same position. To parent connection. This is a terrible way of doing it. We'll see if it even works. Okay, so it does work. Whoops. But now none of the other connections work, including deconstruct. Oh, whoops. It's less than or equal to distance. Let's just do less than distance. Telling you my brain's fried. Okay, now that doesn't work. This does. Okay. Okay. What? Why? Oh. I know what's going on. This is more like what you were saying. Connections objects, give them a connected true, false attribute. Yes. Oops, not global. But you might want to be able to do a have certain components on them. So obviously they need to be able to overlap with each other if there's no component and still be able to place something on them. But if there's a component on them, then I want all the ones that overlap with it that don't have a component on them to pretend as if they do, basically. That's been the dance of making sure that they all update, especially when you delete and all that. So I know there's good ways of doing this. I'm doing it in kind of a bad way, but I think this looks a little bit more like what you were saying, a parent object. I don't really need the free floating. We can do that. Now, base builder, when we go here, we say comp new structure dot first foundation equals comp. New structure dot children dot append comp. Here we need to put that up here as well. Wait, place component, we need to do connection dot, yeah, wait, parent connection. Connection dot parent dot structure dot children dot append comp. Okay, let's see what breaks. This breaks. First foundation on type nil, or on base object of type nil. Why is this breaking? So let me look again. Foundation blip. And then we try to build here. Parent, which is a base build component. Dot structure. So structure is nil there. Comp dot parent connection equals connection. Comp dot structure equals parent connection dot parent dot structure. Oh. Oh, I can just do connection. Okay. Now we have a first foundation listed. What happens if we destroy it? You cannot destroy it because our connections are checking and parent dot structure dot first foundation dot type component type in accepts, something like that. Second attribute, base connection attribute, then other component attribute. I guess you mean for walls and such. Probably just name those their own. I can see how the attribute list can get messy. Yeah, so I have a couple types. Just realized you're making this plugin open source. You are the man. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's useful enough, usable. It's breaking constantly, but I'm trying to make it. It's really hard to make something that other people are going to be able to use, because then you have to get rid of all the jankiness in an okay way, which right now I'm not really doing. Interested, I did post that link further up in the chat. When I build the video for it, which might be this week or next week, I would love for people to try it. Okay, let's see. Can I delete everything? Yes. Okay. I would love for people to try it, because then people can figure out all the bugs and all the issues with it. So if you want to test it. But basically, I'll explain it in a video, the whole system, but I can show you sort of how it works. Okay, let's try some other things like, can I place there? Okay, I can't. Nice. Wall. Ceiling. Let's do a triangle foundation. Triangle ceiling. But yes, this will all be open source. Doorway. Triangle ceiling. Nice. That already works better than it does in my main game. Because in my main game, you can't build a triangle ceiling system like this on top of another one. It just doesn't work. Deconstructs, those work. Okay, things are working. But basically what I want to do is make this more than just a base builder. Primarily it's a base builder, but I want it to be very, very customizable to the point where you can do like city builder stuff with it, or it's basically just a way of building components that are supposed to align in a certain way in 3D space. That's the general idea. In fact, I'll give you a quick rundown. So when we were talking about attributes and stuff, this obviously looks very messy here, but it's actually pretty nice. So if I go to my components, I'll start with the example components. So just the foundation. We have connection points. These connection points connect to other types of components. So here we have a foundation connection. I just named it that so I can see it easier. But they're not separate foundation or component, like nodes or scenes from each other. Like a foundation connection and a wall connection are the same root scene. You just assign what it accepts. So foundation component, I have one over here. It's pointed backwards if I look in local space. Yep. Which should align it correctly if I place something there. So you do have to set their rotation to wherever you want them to point. But now I can place a foundation there, or I can place one here, or I can place one there, or I can place one there. So 4 different connection spots. You could customize these. You could make it so you could put a foundation right on this corner for some reason. You could do whatever. It has a parent, but that gets set. Yeah, either in the ready function or you can assign it yourself. Which I should probably go to my components, base build component. Is it base build component? Or no, it's connection. Okay. Set a little null thing in there. Okay. Anyway, back to our foundation here. We've got those connection points, and those have this array inside of them that just is called accepts. So this accepts these components, and it's of the type, you can see here, array base builder dot component type registry. So there are component types. So it gives you a nice little drop down of all the different types of components that you can have. You can edit this enum and create your own specific types, custom types, but these are the base ones. So you have foundation, wall, ceiling, triangle foundation, triangle ceiling, deconstruct. Those are the starter ones. I could add an element here if I want this to also accept ceilings. Then I could make that connection point also take a regular ceiling instead of a full foundation. So on wall connection, I just place my wall connection right along the edge because that's where my wall is going to go. If I look in local space, it's pointed inwards, which should align the wall to point in the correct way. And then it accepts wall. Now, you could tell I have doorways. I have eventually you could add windows. You could add a bunch of things. But I don't need to add a new type here because I know all of my doorways are going to go where walls can go. So I just have one type, which is called wall. And that accepts, I could put a doorway on that connection. I could put anything that I set to be a type wall there. Square foundation itself, if I click on the root node, component type right here, foundation. So it only goes where foundations go. If I go to my wall, wall is type wall. So it only goes where walls go. And if I go to doorway, doorway is also of type wall. So it only goes where walls go. All of these components have their own connections on them. So I've got connection here, which I should probably give this a name, wall connection. It is of type wall. If I go to deconstruct, it's right in the center. It is of type deconstruct, which just allows you to destroy the component. Then I have ceiling connection, one in the front, one in the back. These are of type ceiling. I have triangle ceiling and triangle front and back. They're in a different spot because the triangle needs to align perfectly. And those accept triangle ceilings, and that's it. Every time you change what you're building through your own build UI, it updates all of these connections to say, hey, only turn on the connections that are of this specific type of triangle ceiling. If they don't accept triangle ceiling, we just turn off the connection completely, as in not enable or disable it. We enable or disable the hitbox, the actual hitbox of it, the area 3D. And it does work pretty clean, except for some edge cases that I have been working on all of today. But it seems like we've kind of fixed those. It's just whether or not I fixed them in a way that's scalable. Totally get it, but I don't know if you remember, I found you a few months ago and was excited to try and make a base building game. I do remember you from a few months ago. You were making some other cool games, so I get why you didn't want to open source those. I just wanted the scaffold for the building part. Yeah. Feels like the most complicated part. I will try to contribute if I can. Hey, man. If you've got ideas, yeah, it's there. I don't really know how GitHub works. I'll post this again in the GitHub. But if you have, I don't know, what do? You do pull requests, and then I can check and see what they look like and potentially merge them. If you have pull requests, as long as they kind of fit into the same system, I might look at them and be like, I don't know if this works or not. I mean, whatever. But I want to at least make it all here. And like I said, it's not finished yet. But I do remember you coming by. I've actually kind of wanted to make these plugins for a while. I just didn't want to necessarily put the whole game up. But this is the exact same system from that game, but just made better. Hopefully better. I know it's already working better than it is in that game that I was working on. So this is, yeah. It doesn't really work right off the bat. Like you have to pull it in. I don't have it fully set up as a plugin yet. Like you would have to go in and enable the auto loads, the singletons, but GitHub is a bit confusing. Yeah, I haven't used it professionally in forever. It's basically just a place to keep my code, but I haven't worked with anyone on a repository in a long time. But yeah, there's some basic stuff in here. Let's see here. Fixing some connection issues. I'll push up the latest one. You could pull it down now and play around with it, but it's, like I said, it's not really, like a lot of things will break and you'll have to you'll have to pull down a new version soon because I'll be adding stuff quickly to this thing. Because I've only really been working on this for about a week and a half. But I would love for people to try it. So I'm glad that you're looking to play around with it. All good. Just excited about the fact that there's a project of this type out there for sure, man. I want to make more of these types of things too. Like I want to take my inventory plugin, which is also now broken, and I need to finish that and make it good. And I wanted to make it more scalable, so then I accidentally kind of broke it in the doing of that. But if I have a base building and an inventory add-on that are useful for people, that makes me happy. I would love to see someone use one of my plugins in a game. That would just be sick. So I want to make this great, and I want to make the documentation great. So I have a bunch of comments and stuff. A lot of these things have their own, like I've given these properties here, or these descriptions, because they're all exported variables. So hopefully everything is readable. Like I have all of these comments in here that hopefully are, explanatory enough. And then I'm going to make a video on how to use it, as well as maybe make an actual documentation somewhere. Maybe even put it on a website. But I have, even like on functions and stuff, I'm trying to make, like if I go into here and do, or actually, if I go into base builder, no, not base builder, my player, place component, if I hover over that says, this is a method to place a component at a connection point. Pass in the component scene, connection, and the node you want the component as a child of. Oh, and this actually needs to be updated, because there's also the degrees of rotation. You can also specify the degrees rotation around the X or around the Y axis for rotatable components. So like trying to keep that up to date, make it readable, easy to use. So we went back to just explaining this. There's also in the base builder, which is like your main script, your main scene that you attach somewhere. I have it on the camera because it has a connection detection range attached to it, and so wherever I look, it will detect connections. But the base builder, it also has this enumerator right here, which is the types of components your connections accept. Deconstruct needs to remain. I'll do otherwise it will error. The rest can be removed if you don't want those base types. Just make sure you add types or as you add types or remove them, assign them an integer value and don't reuse old integer values unless you want to go back and change a bunch of connection nodes. So, because this is where you define what types of connections there are. Foundation, wall, ceiling, triangle, foundation, triangle, ceiling, deconstruct. These are all the base ones. And that's where when you click on your connection somewhere, like right here, it will say accepts, and then you can add an element and give it a type. So like this connection accepts. Now it loads in all the default values. There is also in the base builder scene, there is also the build resources here, which is these. When you add a new component to it, you are going to add a new scene. You're going to add a preview scene if you want a preview to show up. So like this is ceiling. Here we have the scene, which is a square ceiling, even though it shows the door and the little icon here for some reason. But you give it a title, give it a type, which once again pulls from those main types. So it's like, okay, ceiling is a ceiling. Makes sense. And you just give it its stuff there. And over here, you give it another title, which this title currently is not in use, but this one is. You do have to give it an actual title. So it's title and then this resource. And you have to, if you want to add a new component, you have to add, I'll do new component. So that's the key for it, the title. I can do new DS component resource, and I can give it a scene, new packed scene. You can just drag it in there. I could say new component. We could quick load a random scene. I'll grab this demo test fail one. And we'll add a CSG box. Okay. So in my base build, I just added, what did I add? Oh, I didn't actually save it. So right here, I'll do it again. New component, new resource. Click into this. This is going to be a type wall. We're going to say new component, scene, quick load, demo test fail. Where was that? Okay, boom. And then I hit add value, key value pair, because otherwise it won't save. Now, if I run this, it should just have a new component. Okay, new component. There's no preview for it. But I can put a foundation here. I can go to new component. Now it snaps onto places. Boom. Here is it errored because your scene needs to actually be a base build component. So that's the other thing. I should. I can't really do a type checking, I don't think. So people will just have to let's do if can I get the type of this? It's a base build component. I don't think I can. Expression is of type pack scene, so it can't. Okay, I can't get the type. So people will just have to know that their find demo test fail will need to be of type. I could change type base build component. So now when I play it, it should work. Foundation and then new component. Blip. Now I can place these anywhere where a wall goes. So it's actually not that hard. You just have to have the right type in there or specify your types. Of course, now I can't connect anything to these. Like I didn't add any connections to the demo test fail. There's also no way to deconstruct them because there's no deconstruct connection. But those are all things that you add in your actual scene. So like now I could go to my scene and do a, whoops, I don't want to add a node. I want to instantiate a child scene. Connection. We go connection. We're going to do array. It accepts deconstruct. So we added a connection first. And all it accepts is deconstruct. And it's hidden in there. Okay, now let's play and see what this does. Okay, new component, blip, 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 deconstruct. Nice. I can now deconstruct them. Okay, and it's kind of that easy. Now I could do another. I could just duplicate this connection. I'm going to move it up to. Just move it to a place that I want it. We're going to say instead of accepting deconstruct, it now accepts triangle ceiling. Sounds good. Foundation, blip, new component, triangle ceiling, right there. So you can fully customize your components and make them do whatever you want. It's just about getting alignments to other components, really. But I think it will be pretty sick because it's already pretty easy to add new components. So now, because I don't want to have that anymore, I can just go back here. We have new component. I'm just going to delete that. You don't even need to save those resources, but it's probably best because you might want build components elsewhere. But yeah. Very modular, man. I love you're def on the right track. I'll try to pop in more often. I got to head out. Thanks again. Yeah, I'm about to take off too, so it was good to see you, man. And I'm glad that I'm working on this because I do remember you talking about base building and stuff. So I have been off of streaming for so long because I moved all the way to Finland. So my streaming schedule is also different. I'm trying to keep it as close to what it was before by streaming earlier in the mornings. But obviously right now it's like 3 in the morning or something in where I used to live. But yeah, explains the sunlight. Yes, I just moved all the way across the world. So, but it was good to see you, man. I'm going to pop off. I'm glad I got this figured out. I think it's getting pretty close. I might be able to just make a video on it maybe over the weekend or something and then put some more documentation work in and then people can test it out. But yeah, peace out, Corrupt. It was good to see you, man. Yeah, if you do pop back in, say hello. Okay, well, yeah, I'm going to take off. Have a good one to anyone in the YouTube chat as well. Peace, you too, brother. It's good to see you. But yeah, we'll